Can game collectors also be minimalists? Volt Supreme wants to know. So let's talk about it. What's up, human beings? Welcome back to another Midweek Speak here on the Games and Groceries channel, where we like to bring you into the discussion. If you would like to be part of the discussion, I will post little questions on our Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word, and Twitter, @GamingGroceries. And I will ask you a question and then come into the discussion. It's right here. Also, subscribe. But in this Midweek Speak, we're talking about, can game collectors also be minimalists? So before we even jump into this discussion, we need to talk about, what is minimalism? What does it mean to be a minimalist?
So I think minimalism, and we've discussed this before, that minimalism is more of not getting rid of everything and sitting in a white room with just bare furniture.
Right.
But it's more of just surrounding your things that make you happy and not having excess things.
Right.
So, like, we have a huge movie collection.
Yeah.
And those movies make us happy. And we did go through them and just make sure we only had movies that we actually watch. Mm-hmm. But that movie collection makes us happy. So for us, that was minimizing.
Yeah.
You know, even though we're keeping tons of movies.
Right.
It's something that makes us happy.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's more of that, where it's just getting rid of excess things that you don't need, doesn't bring any happy memories or make you feel anything special.
And I agree with that, just because minimalism isn't like this thing that you deprive yourself of everything that you love. It is what it is. It's getting rid of excess. You can also call minimalism essentialism. It's only keeping things in your life that bring joy, bring happiness, that are essential to your life, and getting rid of all the excess so that you can focus on what you actually love. Liz brought up a good point about our movie collection. And even if you watch a documentary in minimalism, you'll see the people who founded minimalists.com. But even these people, they'll be approached by others saying, like, I love my book collection, I love reading, I love the smell of books, I love to give out my books, let them borrow. And they say, well, like, you can keep your books, it's just about the excess in your life. They don't care what you keep. Minimalist isn't about what you keep or living off of as little as possible. What minimalism is just getting rid of the excess in your life. So when you look inside your house, you only find things that bring you joy, bring you happiness. So that brings us into what game collecting is. And game collecting is pretty much what it says in the world. It's collecting games. Now, what a true game collector is, I don't consider myself a game collector, but if you go around to people who love game collections, they love completing sets, right? Like, there's people that want a complete set of GameCube games. There's a complete set of all this type. They have a goal, and it's a hobby. And I can imagine it's really fun just going around to conventions, flea markets, little known areas, just to find that one piece of the puzzle in your collection. And it's a treasure hunt, essentially. And I can see how that can bring value into your lipe.
On top of that, game collecting isn't even just the games. It's the systems or the things that come with the special editions.
Yeah.
So the figurines, anything that involves games that you love.
Yeah.
You know, like
collecting all the special edition original Xboxes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That. Or even just like the pop figures for one of your favorite games, completing a set for that. Just having things that go along with games too. It doesn't even have to be just the games.
Now, I hope you get to this point in the video and you start to see, oh, there is kind of a correlation between minimalism and game collections. But really, it does come down to, minimalism is about taking away the excess in your life to make more room for things that you love. And then game collecting is collecting about the things that you truly love. There could be a point in your childhood where you said, I love the Nintendo GameCube and I want to complete the set because that brought back the most amount of memories. You're starting to see where the correlation's coming in.
That's where I think that overlap would lie. It's, you know, you can still collect your games.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes you happy. Now, if you're collecting games for something that you don't even like,
right,
then that's, you know, you might not want, that's where that overlap in minimalism is. You would get rid of the ones that don't bring you joy, things that you don't really care about. and just focusing on collecting those things that really mean a lot to you or that bring you the most joy or the best memories.
So like I said, I asked you guys on social media and you had some thoughts too about the correlation between minimalism and game collections. First we have from our buddy Kevin, who's also known as Werewolf359, and he has this to say. I would say the main thing is being careful of what you collect, but can be very tricky. Like I collect, I'm sure he meant Legend of Zelda, but will only buy if it's licensed by Nintendo, so no fan art or fan-made things. And that's the point, is that when you're game collecting, but also going to minimalism, you're buying things that truly matter, that are licensed by Nintendo, that isn't a fan-made thing, that it actually brings some sort of value into your life, and that value of life is your game collection.
And then we have from @Commander Nikki. She says, I'm having a lot of trouble processing the concept of minimalism right now. Maybe I need to give it more time, thought, and research. But what I got from a short time of reading is that you simply can be a game collector while being a minimalist, if that's what you're focusing on. And I agree. That's what we've been talking about, that it might not, the minimalist lifestyle might not be for you, but if that's where you're worried that if you go into minimalism, you have to get rid of all your figurines and all your games and everything, that's not true. You can keep all your games in the boxes and display them if that's what makes you happy.
Yeah.
You can keep all your figurines and all your figures and little things like that you collect. Mm-hmm. There's no difference as long as they make you happy and they provide and they have some sort of necessity in your life. That's what's important.
So before we go into our closing thoughts, we want to hear from you guys. We heard from Kevin and Commander Nikki, but we want to hear from you. Comment down below. What are your thoughts? Can a game collector also be a minimalist? Are you a game collector and a minimalist? Are you a minimalist but you don't want to be a game collector? We want to hear all your thoughts in the comments down below. But in terms of concluding thoughts, I want to ask you guys the question, in your game collections, is there anything in your collections that is excess? And when I say excess, it's something that you don't truly value. You're just having it just to prove a point, just to say that I have this and that gives me value in my game collection. If there's any sort of excess, it's taking away from the joy that you have from the game collections that you already have. That's up to you. I don't really care if you have more or less. It's just a matter of having full personal value in your game collection. But I get what you mean, Liz, where people are kind of afraid to even touch minimalism because it means getting rid of all of their game collection. It has nothing to do with that. And I think there's a lot of minimalists who are kind of snobby and snooty and say like, oh, I don't need this. And they live on as little as possible. And like I said in the first point, minimalism is not about depriving yourself. It's about just getting rid of the excess in your life.
That was, when you brought minimalism to me, that was my biggest fear, because I love having my picture frames out and I love our movie collection and I like my shoes and my sweaters. Those are things that I love to have. And mugs. I collect mugs. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, that was where I was worried, but then you pointed out, well, it's not that. You don't need to get rid of those things that you love. It's more of getting rid of the things that we don't need, that we don't use, that aren't serving any purpose.
So closing thoughts, in my personal opinion, I think, yes, you can indeed be a game collector and a minimalist all at the same time. You can be a minimalist and even consider game collections. It's just about bringing value into your life and getting rid of the excess from your life so that you can just look at your collection and just see all the things you really, really love. And that can mean, going back to my previous example of the GameCube collection, you only want to focus on that full GameCube selection, but you have those few original Xbox titles that you don't really care about. Those are the ones that are just excess that can be valued by another person, and then you only see that GameCube collection. Mm-hmm. And that's the excess in your life. The Xbox games, not the GameCube games.
Ditto. Just kidding. Yeah. But no, I completely agree. You can be a game collector and a minimalist at the same time. You don't need to be like another minimalist who might go with absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But you could be more like the way we do minimalism, where we just have...
Hi. Oh, there he is.
But you can be like us, where you just have things that make you happy. You get rid of the excess that you don't need, that don't serve any purpose in your life, and just have what brings you most joy.
So we want to hear from you guys down in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Can you be a game collector and a minimalist? But as well as commenting, there's a few different buttons down below you can also click. First and foremost, click that subscribe button so that you're informed when all of these episodes come out, as well as our podcasts, our live streams, Let's Play, as well as the like and share buttons. You go ahead and click those and like it if you enjoyed this, as well as share with a friend who also is thinking about becoming a game collector if they're a minimalist, or vice versa. So we want to thank you again for watching this week's Midweek Speak, and we will see you in next week's Midweek Speak. Later.
Bye.